Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Enlighten Up podcast. And as you can see today, I am joined by one of your favorite guests. Returning is Mary Dusina. She is an astrologist, a seer. She's a mystic. And of course, she is one of our favorite guests who likes to tell us exactly how it is. No sugarcoating, which we absolutely love. Mary, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing marvelous. Welcome to the warming season. Everybody out there, thank you. Beautiful audience of Nicole's, the Enlighten Up audience that appreciates your diva hostess, bringing people and her time and her talents to the table. So thank you for promoting and donating and subscribing to our lovely Nicole.
Thank you for being back again. I mean, we've got some interesting movement in the skies. And of course, we have our full moon in Sagittarius that we're going to get into, as well as a pretty big stellium shift into Aries after a big one in Pisces. So where would you like to start? Do you want to get into the full moon first, since that's where we're at today?
I feel like that so people can, to your point, so people can understand the elemental shift. So we had this in like March, April, we had a lot of alignment going on with the Pisces element. So the Pisces element, a stellium, is 3 or more planets clumping up in one sign. Some astrologers include the asteroids, some don't. But if you do, then we had like a pretty strong planetary parade in our 12th Western zodiac sign of Pisces. So we were longing for a different type of empowerment landscape. We were finding that the signs and wonders, our dream images, our emotions seemed to take a lead with our ego and our personality. We started to rethink and reprioritize our own self-worth. Uranus is still in Taurus. And so the Taurus and the Pisces dynamic was very, very compatible. And we still have Pluto in Capricorn for a bit. So when you have earth, water, if I could give you a celestial, earthy, as above, so below landscape, imagine the sand and the shoreline and the beach, Pisces, the shoreline being the earth element, and or I live in the mountains. So if you're in the mountains, then you would imagine that you've been hiking up a nice trail, everything's pleasant, and you come to a beautiful waterfall. So we have the mountain, Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus. The mountains, according to my First Nations people's medicine men teachers, are always about how Mother Earth feeds us. So the mountains are her breast milk, if you will. The mountains are where we are fed with the earth element and our ability to get grounded and to again come in contact with the foundation of our body as our earthly element temple, container, chalice, and that the spirit, the almighty I am, is what's breathing us and what we're breathing in. When we inhale the air element, etheric, that's sacred spirit, and what we inhale, we're accepting. A lot of people in metaphysics need to rethink that one as life coaches and participants. What we inhale, whether you're doing yoga or when I do Reiki work or whenever we're doing shamanic ceremony or ritual, that's why they tell you to slow down your breathing, to start doing diaphragmatic breathing, to center your mind, to be mindful and get centered on your chakras and your soul star, because we're beginning to be very cognizant and aware of, is something breathing us, like our anxiety, our fears, our need to control, our OCD, our ADD. But when we go into ceremony, prayer, or ritual, we're beginning to say, Almighty I am, as above, so below, Almighty Spirit, great mystery, beloved God, whatever that you ascribe to, but you're beginning to actually come into a concert of energies in communion with that. So that orbited around us in a much stronger way in the March-April passage of transits. Then we shifted, right toward the end of May, we shifted into Jupiter, which spends about a year in each one of the zodiac signs. Jupiter shifted into the first cardinal fire element sign of Aries, the Ram. So Aries is our I am that I am. It's our inner child. So we're finding that the patterns that were disturbing or eclipsing or frustrating us with the Pisces stellium and the eclipses that happened at the end of April and coming into the full moon of May, we had the subconscious waters, that which we recorded on an unconscious way and got embedded into our cellular intelligence from everybody has one, our childhood stories. We found that we began to see that those high tides weren't going to be able to lure or beguile or bewitch or tempt us or collapse us anymore. So Pisces gives us a way to remember that we came from spirit. Spirit breathes life into us, and we are spirit walking this earth, discovering our soul and our life purpose, but for a while. So the material world, think about it as the body, your bones, your skeletal frame, and then we have the flesh and the sinew and the ligaments and the tendons and all of that. But spirit is what animated the earth temple. So now we've shifted with the fire of desire, momentum, modus operandi of Aries. We're shifting from yin, feminine, magnetic energies, what we're drawing down from the moon, what we're drawing to us from our psychological pheromones, our subconscious, and the ritual and meditation and prayer work that we do. That's the magnetic signs, our earth and water. The yang, or the electrical, reach out and touch, reach out and get it, put your foot in the water, take the first step. The horse is led to water, and it will take the first drink. These are our fire and our air signs. So now we have this planetary parade lining up with Jupiter in Aries and Chiron in Aries, and we've got the energy of Venus just shifted into Taurus, so she's gone back in. Then we have Mars in Aries. Now, here's an interesting celestial recipe. Whenever a planet comes to spend time, and they all travel at various rates and speeds of return, but that's why astrology is star language science, because you have repetitive cycles, so we can go back in time, which I'm about to, and reference in our own lives as tangible, evidential proof, and hopefully will help you realize what's coming up again with this particular planetary signature. So Mars, when a planet is in the sign that it favors or governs or rules, Mars is strongest, first in Aries, when it's in Aries by transit, second in Scorpio. Venus is strongest or more favored when she comes home to Taurus, where she is right now as we speak in June, or Libra. So Venus and Mars, both right now, not just one of them, but both of them are in their eminent domain of empowerment. So Mars has a lot to do with our courage to encourage our own self. So where can we be less motivated by just, I want this, and why didn't that happen, and calling on the wambulance? Aries is about get out of just the ego and allow yourself to go into self-worth and motivational skill sets that will help you actually pat yourself on the back because you did it. You made the first step. Aries isn't about finishing it. Aries is about starting it up. So now we have Mars, and the great benefic, the great expansion agent of Jupiter, Zeus in mythology, the great hotshot Greek god that told the other gods what to do, gods and goddesses what to do. Zeus was the big guns. We got the big kahuna in the sign of Aries. Now watch me combine them. Here's your time track to be a time traveler and make notes and go back in time. At the end of 2010, the beginning coming into spring of 2011, so you might just circle 2011, was the last time that Mars and Jupiter joined forces in the sign of Aries. What motivated you? What did you walk away from? What did you enter into? What did you decide and declare for yourself that I'm not going to be caught up in that pattern or that drama or that scenario anymore? We started at that point, at that end of 2010, going into the spring of 2011, of determining with ourselves, what are you doing that's not working? It's like when a Dr. Phil will look at you and say, when somebody says, well, I've been doing this and I've been doing that, and Dr. Phil says, yeah, how's that working out for you? You're sitting on my stage right now, seeking advice. So let your therapist part of yourself, let your higher wisdom self turn to you, not in judgment, not shaming or blaming you like, yeah, where are you since 2011? Instead, let your higher medicine self, the wisdom part of you, align in divine alignment with your sacred guardian angel. Look in the mirror and say, wow, look at all that I have overcome. Look at all that I have walked into and out of since 2011. Because Mars is that courage. Mars is the white knight that's ready to do the vision quest. Now, there's plus and minus, shadow and light to every sign polarity dynamic. So here we are in the 2022 season of Gemini. Think about Peter Pan. Think about Tinkerbell and Peter Pan and how Tinkerbell would get impatient and didn't really like him falling in love with anybody else that was certainly someone that was human, for God's sakes. But Peter Pan just wanted to teach everybody how to fly and go to Never Never Land, because Peter Pan didn't want to face growing up into a real boy. He saw that as one of his embedded fear sets. So Tinkerbell is Aquarius and Peter Pan is Gemini. We've got Saturn in Aquarius right now, getting ready to retrograde as it does on June 4th. But Saturn in Aquarius is happy, happy, happy with the Gemini planets that are flying around right now. So the air element is our intuition put into our mind, our beliefs, how we express ourselves. Mercury has come out of retrograde on June 3rd, comes out of its storm period to really increase our dynamics of inspiration, motivation, savvy, as Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean says, savvy, as Jack Sparrow, the character. So we become very savvy and sassy and saucy, but we're not just caught in the minus of Aries being too self-centered or very entitled. And actually, some people are unconsciously selfish. I mean, they think about their place in line at the store or their parking space only. They don't look at the whole collective. The Gemini, the Saturn in Aquarius, the Mars and Jupiter and Chiron lining up in the Aries dynamic is saying to us, how can you level up? Because when you've got Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra involved, those are the yang. Those are the electrical. Now we're thinking about, what are you plugging into? Where's your power source? You take the electrical plug and you plug it into the wall, and then you're able to take your cell phone and charge it up, or your laptop. So this is a very good season as we come to the full moon in the fire sign of Sagittarius. This is about motivation. This is about momentum. But I don't want you hung up on the fact that you need to get it going and finish it all before the end of June. No. This is a time to really make amends with yourself, be honest with yourself and say, okay, if I'm going to look at Aries, me, myself, and I, and my 5 main senses, because Aries rules the head, so it's sight and smell and taste and hearing. What am I putting my eyes into a lot of the time? What am I listening to inside my head, Gemini? And what are my belief systems that are constructive, and what are the ones that are destructive? And look at where you get triggered. There's constructive anger that can motivate us to clean out that closet or vacuum our car or stop slacking and putting it off and ghosting our own chores and procrastinating. Aries is like, get her done. So Aries is going to pester us to start the project, to get the first steps going, and who you want to connect with, what you want to manifest. So in your rituals and in your ceremonies, you sit down, what are my top 3 desire priorities for June and July? Because we're going to end spring, the season of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. We have 3 spring signs. We have Aries, Taurus, Gemini. We're finishing up spring, and we're going to enter into the oceans of emotions and feelings and intuitive cycle that starts in the 3rd week of June on the 21st, when we have summer solstice, and we move into equal day night, and we move into the sign of Cancer, the ocean crab. So we're going to shift back into water, and we're not going to want to do things unless we're in the mood for it. So right now is an Action Jackson type of cycle of fire full moon. It's going to be a supermoon in Sagittarius, and it's primarily going to illuminate the air and fire signs. So if you're a Sagittarius, this is the only full moon in your sign of the entire year of 2022. And it's a supermoon, which means the moon is closer to our Mother Earth. And so Sagittarius is all about freedom. So when I go through the 12 signs in a minute, Sagittarius is saying to us, why don't you take a little pause, a pause for the cause of your empowerment, your enlivenment, your intuitive savvy, your ability to upgrade your own ability to dreamweave and manifest, because Sagittarius is the archer, and Sagittarius is about how we can find a way to heal what has impeded us and what has created that dynamic of orbiting insecurity, or where we blame ourselves or shame ourselves, or took that in our storybook of our childhood from other people and how it affected us or infected us. Sagittarius is the crossroads of 2022 to say, I'm good enough, I'm worth it, and I'm not going to get so self-absorbed, but I am going to start setting boundaries. So Sagittarius is that part in the chart of all of our charts that says, no, you don't have to get applause just by trying to please people all the time. You don't have to be the empath that continues to feel everything that everybody else ought to be feeling and ought to be working on and ought to be booking their appointments for clairvoyant counsel with Nicole or myself or the other good therapists or psychics that you know. This is that action time to say, you know what? I need to invest some time and money in myself, in a session with Nicole. Maybe I'll get a chart reading from either one of them, Nicole or me. We're here to help you. Nicole does a lot of pro bono things. I appear on other podcasts and do free stuff from my heart, like Nicole does on my website and on my social media pages on Instagram and Facebook. So you've got a little pacifier that you can go to for a little bit of daily light, daily encouragement. But you putting your toe in the water and saying, you know what, I'm not just going to, and thank you for your loyalty, listen to what Nicole tells me on her YouTube channel or on her Patreon or on her private memberships and all. I'm going to actually thank Nicole and invest in a session. I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to get just a reading for me, not all the fire signs, not all the earth signs, but me. I'm going to have that concert of intuition and how Nicole's guides will converse with my guides and come through and give me some very specific things for me, and you can make notes on it, and you can put those notes under your pillow when you go into the dream state, because right now with the Aries, and right now with the fact that we've got the moon coming up in a fire sign that is very compatible with all this Aries. The moon in Sagittarius is the polarity opposite to the Gemini dynamic. It's air and fire. It's yang. It's not a time for us to sit on our duffs and procrastinate, no matter what your sign is, but especially if you're an Aries, especially if you're a Leo Sagittarius, especially if you're a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This is a time where whatever seemed to just be in limbo or stagnating since September of 2021 is coming right up in your face going, you're not putting it off anymore. This is the time to make a decision. You in or are you out? Because that's what Gemini and Sagittarius will do.
With the full moon coming up in Sagittarius, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's at 27 degrees. Is it 27 degrees of Sag?
You're close. I've got 23 degrees, 25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it's still in that third decan. Yeah, it's still in that. It's still in the 20s. It's still in the early 20s of the degrees. And what it's doing in Sagittarius, when you get something that's pretty well into the sign, it's not at the very beginning, or like people call it a cusp, or it's not at the very end, and people like to call it a cusp. What it's doing is it's saying to those Geminis born in June, and it's saying to the Sagittarians that are born in December, and the Aries that are born in April, and the Gemini, Sag, and the Libra people that are born in October, it's saying to you, it's now or never. Now, that doesn't mean that everything's going to fail. It's just saying, make a decision. This is not a time to be in limbo. And this is certainly a time that we can start the process and say, I need to at least look at why I'm putting it off.
Mm-hmm.
I could do some energy work on why I'm hesitant, or watch where your thoughts go. Gemini, thoughts, beliefs, words, expression. What goes on in my head? We're so unconscious to that most of the time. When I think about that trip or that brand new experience, I've never done that before in my life. Like, my friends that had never tried drinking mushrooms or had never tried going off their medications or had never tried asking a guy to dance when we were out in the club and stuff like that. Always were waiting for the guy to ask them. Never tried walking up to somebody, and being a little bolder because they were more introverted, So when you step out of your comfort zone, it's pretty easy, really. If you're not comfortable in your life right now, maybe your air quotes comfort zone isn't serving you up so nice. Maybe you need to shake the little treasure box a little bit and dig your hand down deep. Other treasures could be. Mm-hmm. So Sagittarius is bringing us. Gemini is the pirate's treasure map. Sagittarius is the journey to go get the treasure.
And so there's a square then happening with Neptune if it's at 23 degrees. Am I like? Yeah, there's a square happening there in Neptune and Pisces. How is that influencing this full moon?
When we had all that Pisces parade, which of course was including Neptune. Now, why is Neptune mentioned for those of you that are novice or intermediates? Neptune is home in the sign of Pisces. Neptune is Poseidon, the Mer kingdom. It has everything to do with the mysteries of the sea, S-E-A, and the mysteries that we can perceive, or S-E-E. So Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. It opens up the month of June at 25 degrees. Full moons move fast, so it's within a 2-degree orb. So if I would put it this way, when you get your charts done, if you know your houses, oh my God, learn your chart. It's your soul signature. So in our charts, the area of this is what you need to open your eyes, get out of denial, do not be enabling, and do not be self-deceptive is going to be the area of your chart where you have Pisces, the house, the zone, not so much the planets. That only adds impetus to it and impact. So where you have Pisces in your astrological birth chart, your Earth birth star map, and where you have Sagittarius is going to be that square, that 90-degree angle that says, wake up, enough is enough. So Sagittarius is bold and is that medicine man, that herbal teacher, that feminine life coach in your life that will say to you, okay, I'm going to tell you the way it is. You can take the information or you can flush it. I don't care what you do, but this is what's going on. And I'm not going to be that life coach. I'm not going to be that clairvoyant that sits here and agrees with you to get you to make a bunch of more readings. I'm not going to do it. When you come to the table of the way I work, it's going to be, let's get you unlocked fast because you've been locked up too long and you're spinning in the same place. You're just spinning your wheels. So Neptune has to do with why we want to take the oxycodone again, whether we really need it or not. Neptune is the part of us that can escape at a great rave concert or have a little herbal libation or just a couple of glasses of wine, or you're out in nature and a medicine ceremony and you're escaping the 3D material TikTok world and you're doing some type of shifting into your higher self, into the multidimensional realms, which our spirit is an ongoing part of. Too many people get caught up in the 3D TikTok world where I go to work, where my bills, where I make my money, I got to clean my house, I got to service my car. That person thinks this of me, I need to go do this, got to go to the grocery store, and all these things catch us up, got to go buy that couch. Everything, that all catches us up, but tell me what that has to do with your soul. So we're putting a footprint in both worlds. So we're living on our beautiful biological mother called Mother Earth. That's our real mother. There's another mother that got us here, but we're living on the skin of our Earth mother. So Earth is my mother. Make no mistake about it. She is my mother. I take from her, she gives to me. I need her weather. I need her fruits. I need her vegetables. She sustains me. Even there's a humanoid that participated in getting our body temple here. Earth is my mother, and heavenly is my spiritual breath and my dynamic of how I tune into those frequencies. So Pisces, the plus of Pisces and Neptune in Pisces is our dream work, music, dance, art, theater, going into a mind-altering type of experience that we may call entertainment. But if I go to a building and there's going to be a beautiful theatrical play, or I go to a sidewalk art show, or I go to a medicine wheel ceremony, which I partake of a lot, when I go actually and participate in that, I am altering my consciousness in ways that I don't normally do in my 3D everyday realm. So Pisces can, on the plus, elevate our consciousness by us not being so tethered or leashed to everyday life and habits. Sagittarius is similar, being ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the former ruler of Pisces too in ancient Persian astrology. So Jupiter has a little bit of a signature in both Sagittarius and Pisces. So Jupiter is saying expand your consciousness by being a little bolder in seeking some type of truth experience or consciousness raising. You might even just put on a YouTube a selection that has to do with sound frequencies that raise and cleanse your chakras. You might do a YouTube meditation as you fall into sleep. You know, the YouTube will stop, you'll go into sleep, but at least your subconscious recorder took in some nice stuff that will help clear out in a magical, mystical, heavenly type of way some stuff that got all clogged up in your pipes of consciousness. So you're like clearing your plumbing when you do mystical and medicinal applications. The Sagittarius and Pisces dynamic of this full moon in Sagittarius and Neptune in Pisces is also saying, where might you add a little more of wellness habits or holistic modalities? Like, I don't buy any kind of face creams in a drugstore or a store or online or any of that. My face cream is extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. And all the time people say to me, my God, you've got the most beautiful skin. Yeah, I know, I use natural stuff that my skin can drink. Yeah.
So with this full moon, then what I'm seeing and hearing from you is obviously
Liberation.
Sagittarius is, you know, whenever we have a full moon, things are being illuminated. They're coming into
Absolutely.
full understanding, or something is being shown to us in its full light, perhaps to bring to completion, or perhaps just for a bigger understanding. And with it being in Sagittarius, Sagittarius rules the big picture. It's about looking beyond the horizon. It's about also, you know, connecting, like you said, with your soul and your soul purpose. It's very spiritually based, and also about higher learning. And so with Neptune squaring it and that on that Pisces axis there with the square, I see a couple of things there where, you know, to me, squares offer like an action, like they create a challenge to force an action through so Neptune is kind of forcing an action through the moon of Sagittarius in that illumination of perhaps us, like you said, stop kind of having your head in the clouds or in denial about something. It's time to really start, especially with the Jupiter influence and the Mars in Aries influencing that Sagittarius moon. It's time to start. It's time to get going. It's time to go big. It's not time to play small. And I also see that influence of Neptune relating this also to the deeper dreams that we have for ourselves, and also maybe applying a little bit of mystery into where it is we're heading. Perhaps it's time to lean into the unknown, into the deeper parts of us, to actually use it as a way to catapult us into our future.
Well said. Another aspect of the dynamic of the square, you know, think about a square, it's a box. And so it might be like a dog crate, or it might be like a cat kennel. You know, if we carry the dog or the cat to the vet in the kennel, it can't wait to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, it can't. Other animals, like when you put them in the kennel, they feel very secure. They're in their cave. That's their spot. That's their safe portal. So right now, let's look at it energetically. Sagittarius says, shield up. Pisces says there's a war going on for your mind. Take the Gemini into it. It's also a mutable sign. There's a war right now supernaturally on for your mind. We better wake up real quick. Sagittarius and Aries help us to see what it is that's impeding our progress or creating us to want to recoil like a sheep in fear. Instead of the chaos in the multi-scope of the media, you need to disengage right now from media as much as you can. Now is the time to where your higher self, higher love. Steve Winwood did a song back in the late 80s or 90s called Bring Me a Higher Love with Shaka Khan. So it's about seeking the higher love. Everybody's had enough since 2020 of the divided sides of the media and them telling you to do this. And if you don't believe this, Pisces, Gemini, our beliefs. Don't let the external and the media don't let outside influences determine your truth. To Nicole's point, the Sagittarius and the Pisces are the higher love aspects of make it real simple, bottom line, black and white, to the point. Is this of the light or is this of the dark? Is this the dark side of me, of when I collapse into fear or I recoil in fear of being judged or shamed or blamed? No, Pisces is like, if I'm divinely aligned, I walk forward in the brilliance of the Almighty I Am. I walk forward in the brilliance of my ancestors and my elders, and I'm taking care of my earth temple right now. I'm doing the herbs that are very healing for me at this point. I'm meditating, I'm praying. For a lot of you, if you haven't gone to any kind of sacred ceremony or back to your roots of what you ever did enjoy about the synagogue or the temple or the vacation Bible school or the church picnic, pick a strange church and just go and sit in the back. You know, that's something that you can just tithe to and go to basically for free. Just be anonymous, and you don't have to sign the visitor thing. You don't have to get the visitor rose. Just go sit in some kind of congregation or outdoor experience if you choose. Go to something that you have a tug toward or a draw toward, and just see if there's something in that divinely inspires you. The highest part of Pisces is grace and glory and supernatural protection and empowerment in the shields. And if those of you out there can't see that everybody seems to be vying for you, no, don't touch that. Don't have sex. Don't kiss. Watch your mouth. Watch your germs. No. This needs to be more AI. Like, you need to get involved with a robot, the modern day sex doll. You need to not get involved with any kind of relationships. And that latest thing that they're trying to call as a impending possible disease or plague, I'll do the initials, MP. Oh, that's happening with same-sex dynamics and sex. So don't do that either. If you can't see that there's this battle going on for us not to respect and enjoy our humanness and our senses and our passions, Aries is passion, and our ability to eye, not head down on a phone, but eye to eye, and not just a text, eye to eye, face to face. I'm so glad I came out to this lecture or this concert, or I'm so glad that I actually made a connection with you on the phone, in person, instead of just emailing or just texting. We need right now, the pushback to the dark forces is, no, you're not going to tell me that I need to back up from my species, from my humankind. Don't turn into an AI, android, robot, Terminator. Don't turn into that. Don't let the external Gestapo governments of this world shut you down and lock you down from the dynamic alignments and meetings and love and intimate tribal sisters and brothers and your love and energetic compatibility. Because when we team up as tribe, it weakens the dark force. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to not be so quick to, well, you did that, so I don't like you, and you believe in that, so I don't like you, and you're politically this, and okay, you're Jewish and I'm Baptist, so I'm going to judge you. Stop it. Stop it.
Well,
here's the best spiritual calling card you can have, whether it's your chosen religion or not. By my works ye shall know me.
Well, and I think Jupiter and Mars and Aries influencing this full moon, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, it's calling us to bring all our attention to ourselves, right? To not
and to be encouraged,
Yes.
to look at the best parts of ourselves, Nicole. The best part. Everybody's different. And that's why when we link up to tribe, we enhance each other's illumination gifts. So the full supermoon in Sagittarius it's like Robin Hood and Maid Marian and the merry men of the Sherwood Forest. So we're finding our tribe. Sagittarius is indigenous. Sagittarius doesn't look at skin color. Sagittarius knows that we're all earth citizens, be it four-legged, winged ones, swimmers, and the two-legged humanoids. So we're finding our tribe. There are going to be more signs and omens out in nature and in your dreams, your animal medicine totems, a certain angel that you're being pulled toward to study about. What does that archangel mean? Maybe I'm drawn to Zadkiel and his color. No, maybe I'm drawn to Jopiel or Shamuel. Look into a little bit of angelology, because the ninth house, Sagittarius, is higher spiritual truth. So what could you study a little bit? What could you invest some time into a little more that has to do with spiritual anchors? This is about rebuking the dark forces. This is about rebuking the weaker parts of you. Aries is about, I don't like that part of myself, so instead of focusing on that, I'm going to face my own patterns. I'm going to contend with my own self-centeredness or my own self-entitlement, and I'm going to be work. Aries gives us that great engineering to become and fashion the better, best version of ourselves. That's what the dynamic is of the Aries and the Sagittarius and the Gemini right now. You have a green light to start fashioning your new psychic and psychological and spiritual costume, except it's you slipping into your new skin. It's like the eclipses back in late April and May were saying, shed the old skin, shed the old skin. It's Scorpio, like the snake part of Scorpio, shed the old skin, you're growing, leave the old self behind. The phoenix that rises up from self-combustion. Then we had the Taurus eclipse that said, are you too caught up in the material world? Are you too caught up in societal's definition of who you should be and how you should be and how rich you should be and who you should hang out with if you're a success? Rebuke that. Rebuke that. Rise up. Rise up. This is a time to celebrate the fact, not the theory, the fact that you are divinely designed, that you have the almighty I am architecture within you, and that if you pay attention to your spiritual frequencies, the body will respond, things will manifest in your life that please you and turn the corners of your face upward, the smile upward, because you are demonstrating that you believe in yourself based on the fact that you are plugged in, divinely designed, and you only got here by supernatural, paranormal, divine frequency. So why not let that be your mother and your father, the actual king and queen of what you address first? I'm saying to a lot of my clients this month, take the thing that you're most scared of since the Pisces spread. Take the thing that seems like I've been addicted to pain pills, or I've been addicted to that person, or I keep taking abuse from that, I keep attracting narcissists, whatever it is. Imagine, it's real quick, just imagine clouds. Since this is a supermoon in Sagittarius, imagine golden steps leading up above the earth. For some of you, if you want to say the hierarchy of heavens, the almighty, higher realms or higher supernatural, ultra-terrestrial, assistance from the angels, guides, whatever you believe, ancestors, and just put on that bottom golden step to see it written down on a piece of paper. I'm releasing how that person hurt me. I'm rebuking and I'm releasing my insecurity about that, or when I was judged about that, or how my mom didn't know how to love me, or my dad didn't know how to love me, or I got a divorce and they walked out on me and cheated me and betrayed on me. Let it go. Let the angels take it up those golden stairs and stop breathing it in. Stop breathing it in. Mm-hmm. So Gemini's breath work, mm-hmm. and Sagittarius, the full moon, is about, will you get your ass out there on the porch and take 15 minutes and do a 30-minute under the full moon meditation? Will you do that? Or will you let the TikTok world make you busy again, or you got caught up in the Netflix, or blah, 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 or somebody texted you and you just didn't go out and meditate? This isn't just a Sagittarius supermoon. This is the third in the trilogy of the annual Ascended Masters moons that occur every year, according to the White Eagle teachings over in England that I've been a part of for a long time. So the full moon that rises every year in Libra, when the sun is in Aries around Easter Passover, that's known as the Christed Consciousness full moon. It's where we are forgiving of ourselves and others, and we allow compassion and mercy to come in, and we allow ourselves to forgive ourselves and quit condemning. Then we have the Buddha moon, known as Wesak, Vesak. Some people spell it W-E-S-A-K. Other Buddhists spell it V as in Valentine, E-S as in spirit, A-K as in kind. So Vesak or Wesak is the celebration of the birth, the life, the teachings, and the death of the Buddha. It's always when the full moon rises in Scorpio, which was the supermoon, while the sun is in the sign of the bull, the Taurus. This is the third, and it's known as the Festival of the Goodwill. And the theory is, and the Ascended Masters teachings, again, of the White Eagle Lodge out of England from many, 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 many decades ago. It's been around for a long time, the Ascended Masters. This one is where the Buddha and the Christ consciousness, East meets West, every Ascended Master, every Ascended Saint and Angel encircles the blue-green jewel of Earth, and they radiate. Those that choose to tune in will receive the radiations and the emanations, and you can figure out pretty close to when the full moon's exact on your time zone. So when the full moon comes nigh, when the actual full moon comes nigh, and on Eastern time, it'll be 7:52 a.m. On Eastern time, it'll be 4:52 a.m. on Pacific on the 14th of June. So tonight, some people like to do it the night before, but if you could meditate either the night before or tonight on June 14th and allow yourself, it can be 15 minutes to just go out under the stars. And if it's raining in your area, then go to a window or a door where you can see the outside and sit in your favorite chair, put on that type of mystical music, turn the actual TV show off, put your cell phone in the other room, and sit down for 5 to 15 minutes and allow yourself to plug in fire signs, plugging in electrical, to plug in and be restored and renovated by this festival of goodwill Sagittarius moon. You know, what you put your eyes into, what you pay attention to will net you treasures and wealth. But if we ignore it and we're cavalier about it and we don't really respect or do our ritual work or our ceremonial work, why should the guides give a damn about us? We're half in. We're not even doing it. You bet your butt on the 3 ascended masters moons, I'm outdoors. I'm connecting with it. So this one is the finish of compassion and mercy. The Buddha moon is about not getting too attached to the material world. Stop being overly attached to the outcome of things. Stop being a control freak. Understand that there is always a divine presence. If we quit interfering with it, that it will help move us along on the chessboard of life and help enrich our soul purpose. This Sagittarius supermoon is saying East meets West. All the ascended masters, all the saints, all the hierarchy of the angelic realm, everything that is of supreme light is encircling the blue-green jewel of Earth for this particular full moon in Sagittarius and saying, how might we recharge you? How might we assist you? Ask, believing that it is so, and you shall receive. So this is that ask and you shall receive full moon. It's personal, it's intimate. Don't judge yourself. You can ask to be released from the snares of anything in your life. If you've got self-shame, if you were abused, if you were hurt, if you were the innocent little lamb and somebody took advantage of you, put it on the altar, let it go. This is that moon. This is that moon of reckoning and the forces of light saying, just like I love to quote from the Wizard of Oz, be gone, for you have no power here. But we have to release it. We have to say, I'm ready for the rest of my life walk, for this never to eclipse me or bother me or impede me again. If you could let go of that one thing or those 3 things that seem to always show up as the monster under the bed or the ghost in the closet, this is that moon. This is that moon.
I love that. I love that. And so before we head into the individual sign readings for this particular full moon, do you want to go through what the axis is all about, like what the major elements of the axis before we head into each individual sign?
Yeah, I can wrap that up pretty quick because we've been kind of dovetailing around that's been flying around us this whole time. So Gemini is the 3rd Western zodiac sign. So when we start the great turning of the wheel, it's Aries at spring equinox, okay? And let's just, for sake of simplicity, work with the Northern Hemisphere. So Aries is the 1st Western zodiac sign, and it is cardinal fire. All of the cardinal signs represent the opening, the curtains being pulled back of the season. So Aries opens up spring, Cancer the crab at solstice opens up summer solstice, Libra the scales of justice opens up the equinox of autumn, and then we have Yule, winter solstice, which opens up the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. Then we go to Taurus, and that's our first fixed sign that happens, which is the 2nd sign. We went through that in late April and May. Now we are in the first mutable, which is a fancy word for changeable, changeable and into multi-level ways of looking at things and believing things and learning things. So the mutable signs are less rigid. Usually, if there's a lot of mutable signs in a chart of Gemini, Sag, Pisces, Virgo, they love to learn and they want to engage with other people's opinions or teachings, and they're fascinated at why people choose to believe what they believe. So now we have Gemini. So Gemini is lighthearted, and it likes to flirt with life. It likes to play. It likes to be the center of attention and create laughter and humor. So I would say in this whole Gemini time, laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. This is not a cycle for us to be heavy. When we come from that new moon in Gemini of May the 30th and 2 weeks ahead into now our full moon, supermoon in Sagittarius, Sagittarius wants to be the vision quest, seek the truth, turn around and teach it. Gemini wants the story. They may or may not. get involved, but they want the story. So Gemini be, I think the cosmic, it can be the Heoka, the person that's a trickster or plays the clown, like the coyote or the fox in nature, especially the fox. Wily is the fox. Like if they're going to be they're basically vegetarians, but if they're going to try to trap something, they act like they're playing with it. So Gemini has, Castor and Pollux, it has the two twins up in the celestial signature of the constellation. So they can be two-faced. Every sign has a plus and a minus. So the negative side of the Gemini qualities in each of our charts, we all have a Gemini zone, is where we might put a mask on, or where we might be two-faced, or where we might not speak our truth or say what we really feel because we don't want to be rejected, or we want to be accepted in that club or that whatever with that person. So Gemini is the part that wants to keep it light and not go heavy. So right now it's a light-hearted cycle. When this full moon ripens over the 13th, 14th, 15th of June is starting to bloom out over this building and light cycle, we'll probably really feel it on the 15th and 16th of June, because that's when the light rays have come in, encoded us, and now we're going to go out there and watch how our external worlds are different on the 14th, 15th, and 16th, now that we have been fed some supermoon light. Mm-hmm. So we've been fed with inspiration. Sagittarius full moon will inspire us. It will light our desires of fire with the Aries. And the Gemini's like, oh my God, if you don't take a risk and start something, stop bitching. You know how people whine and then, well, it's like, you did the same whine last month. When I talked to you last month, you were complaining about the same thing. Can you do one thing different? Try whatever you've been doing has still got you stuck. So just try a different way. If you never speak up, try speaking up, and then find out why that scares you. What are you so afraid you'll lose? Their approval? Oh, please. Oh, please. It's immortal. Start getting in touch with the approval of the supernatural and how you're working and walking with the company of angelic, empowerment, instead of just like that neighbor or that lover or whatever, only being like, well, they won't like it. I don't care. I care about having a compatible relationship. I don't care about them running my life. God did not give them power to run my life. I bow to no mortal, period. If I'm going to get in a relationship, yes, I want to do my part to be honest and fair and express myself, and I care about their dreams. I know what I bring to the table, but I'm not going to get into a relationship just to be into a relationship so they can tell me whether they approve of me or not. It's like, okay, you're dead at hello. But you have to know that about yourself. You have to know that you are a prize to that friend, at that job, with that lover. You have to know that, how are you treating that lover? How are you at that job? Are you lazy? Do you let somebody else pick up your chores that you ought to do? Are you the one that expects your lover to do everything for you, and then you call the ambulance again when they don't? There's nobody else in this world that's supposed to give you everything that you need. That is our connection with spirit, period. Stop putting that on people. It's not their job, man. It's not their job.
Well, like I said, you love to deliver the truth.
And then let's not forget that Saturn is Captain Karma. Yes. So one of the benefits that we have right now with Saturn turning retrograde is we've got 4 to 5 months of not having a lot of new karma being delivered by FedEx or Amazon at our door. Right now we can go, okay, Saturn's turning retrograde on June. It turned retrograde on June 4th, and I've got a real breather here in the Aquarian area of my chart. I don't have to have, so much, I don't have to just have people turn their back on me or detach from me, because Saturn's, it's not even going to, it'll finish out this year. It'll finish out this year. No, it won't. I'm sorry. It'll turn retrograde. So on June 4th, it retrograded in Aquarius. And so what we had then is we had that last degrees of Mercury and Taurus in a square with Saturn in Aquarius. So that has a lot to do with our money, 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 honey, honey, honey kind of a thing, the money and sex zones. It's going to be retrograde until the 23rd of October. So from June to October, there's not a lot of new karma being dumped on us. So there are really good retrogrades, and Saturn retrograde's one of them. That's one of them. Yeah. It is. It's good. It's like, yay.
For one of those great retrogrades.
Yeah, Captain Karma is going to take a little nap for a while, but that means that it's up to us to correct a lot of the things, that were troubling us last year. And the last time, one of the times that Saturn was in Aquarius was that 1993, 1994. cycles. So you kind of look back at the last Saturn and Aquarius cycles. And again, if you want, or if you hire an astrologer, we do it for you. We can get those timelines for you much quicker than you taking it on to study, because we've done it for 20, 30 years. So we can cut to the chase real quick with you when you get your actual chart done, because we've studied your chart before we talk to you.
Yeah.
So we've looked at your star map, and you know what? We speak the language. You're just learning it, which is great, and I encourage you, but I'll be the first to tell you, it's a buttload of work. Oh my God, several dump trucks of stars coming up to your driveway for you to figure it out.
There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack.
Oh my God. And I've done it 35 years and I still love learning from it. But it's like when I remember when I was in it about 7 years, I'm like, oh my God, does this ever end? No, because it's universal star language. It's like if you believe there's aliens and different races of other myriads of universal and galactic citizens out there, maybe that's our common language, that we speak stars. Frequencies, color, stars.
So speaking of the star charts, why don't we go into, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Aries, or do you want to start with Gemini?
Let's start with Gemini, because it's their birthday month, and I like to celebrate the solar return of assignments going on. So first and foremost, happy solar return. Happy May and June birthdays to you, Quicksilver, quick-tongued Geminis out there. And may you make everybody else laugh, because that seems to be in your celestial signature continents. So for Gemini, the new moon that happened at the end of May lit up the Gemini actual solar cycle. It lit you up, and it gives you favor, and it walks you into favor until we go to summer solstice. So it's all, again, like Aries. Gemini and Aries are supposed to be starting up things right now. That's what Aries encourages. Just do something different. Take the first step. The full moon for Gemini, the supermoon in Sagittarius, is kind of, it's a signature of striking out on your own versus celebrating your uniqueness, versus like, how's it going in partnership? Do I want a partner? Am I done with this partnership that I have? I have a lot of Gemini Sagittarian clients since February that are at odds with their partner, or they're at odds with someone at work, or maybe that relationship or that marriage has served its best possible purpose and they're going to be splitting apart. Some of them aren't fighting. They're just done. They're just done. So Gemini is about you starting up what you want for 2022. And the full moon in Sagittarius is saying, let me light up anything to do with the significant others in your life, your children, your parents, your coworkers, who you choose to have as a lover. Now, let me tell you, a Sagittarius full moon's precocious. And so the flirty signs like Gemini and Libra and Sagittarius and Aries, they might get out there and trip the light fantastic and meet up and hook up. It might be real busy on Tinder for a lot of people, because this is like a lighthearted, hey, do you just want to have some adult play? I'm not going to call you, don't call me. I just want to have an escape into the pleasure zones. That can happen when we've got Gemini and Sagittarius together, regardless of whether you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, or Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising. But I can tell you, the Sagittarians that I'm talking to, they've got their eyebrow raised and they're hunting. Yeah, that's going on. I've got that 4 or 5 of them are like, I'm not making any real big, bold moves, but I know inside myself, I'm ready for a different relationship. I'm ready for a relationship. So I hear you. I see you, Sagittarians. And Geminis, you're kind of sorting it out. Virgos, you're still frustrated. So the next sign is Cancer, the ocean crab. Now, Gemini, for Cancerians, this is the Gemini is the sign before yours. So it's the 12th house that's naturally ruled by Neptune and Pisces. So this is a private cycle. This is a retreat and restore thyself cycle until you come to June 21st to the summer solstice and your cycle starts up. Anytime someone's going through a month before their birthday in their 12th house, I encourage my clients to take a little mini vacation, take some time, take you apart a while and rest. It's a time to, what could you do? Get the pedicure, get the manicure, get the massage, go to meditations, do more meditations and prayer work and ceremony. So
funny, that's literally what I'm doing. I'm a Cancer rising. And so I'm, got my trip to Mexico because we're recording this before, and also literally going for my pedicure today. So
that's why we're compatible. I've got that Cancerian signature too. And so I just took a friend, a Virgo actually, and I'm like, how does a Virgo never had a pedicure? And she'd never had a pedicure. And so we drove an hour and a half to some people I know in the mountains that own the salon because they're like super UV clean. And anyway, she was kind of scared like a little kid to put her feet in the professional massage chair bath for all that. And I'm like, the hell's the matter with you? I said, put your feet in the water. And I said, this is a spa pedicure. The pedicure is Pisces. And the fact that we have all our nerves and our circulation in our feet, how many times do I encourage people, any podcast I'm on, go buy some Dr. Teal's Epsom salts, soak your damn feet. Because we abuse our feet. The feet are Pisces, the 12th sign in medical astrology. All of our nerve endings, you assist the circulation in your body and the nerves and everything to do with to avoid neuropathy and all that by soaking your feet in some warm water with Epsom salts. It's magnesium and it calms you down. So if you want something inexpensive to de-stress you, go buy an under $5 bag of Dr. Teal's Epsom salts. There's all kinds of incredible flavors. I prefer the rose of a citrus. And you soak your feet for 30 minutes while you're answering your emails, on the phone, watching Netflix. I mean, you just do that. You don't even have to wash your feet before you stick them in the little plastic, tub while you soak them. It just goes in to your body and helps you sleep better. And magnesium helps you not grind your jaw and it just, it calms you down. So for Cancer risings, and the full moon, what's happening is it's going to be in your 6th house. So you see how they dovetail. The 6th house has to do with that which we're responsible for, like our pets and those that rely on us, especially pets, those that rely on us. And the 6th house has a lot to do also with how we give service. What type of work or service or skill sets do we have? So it's a lot to do with having that great empathic compassion for how specifically a client or a person or a friend might be struggling. And we say, you know what, to thine own self be true. I know that struggle, and my version isn't necessarily the answer for you, but that pedicure, that meditation, that trip to Mexico, that ceremonial situation, just sitting down and say, God, take this from me. Just take this from me. I'm weary. Take it from me. Put it on the golden steps going up into the heavens. So for Cancer, both the full moon and the new moon are about take ye apart a while and rest. Take care of you. To thine own self be true. And it's psychological and it's mystical. And I would say if you're a Cancer rising, Cancer moon, you better listen to what your intuition is telling you about. That's a yes, that's a no, and don't go against it. As I say all the time, stop second guessing your first instinct, your first insight. If you're a Leo, the energy of the full moon is lighting up your, I want to go play, I want to laugh, I want to get my groove on, I put on my eyelashes, put on my wonderful hair smelling oil, and I want to go out and play. I want to go flirt, I want to play, and it's party time. If you're the Gemini aspect of Leo is your friends, your tribe, your support, but it's all about laughter. Lighten it up if you're a Leo, and go out there and be entertaining to other people. You can be that class clown. Your job this month with this full moon and this new moon, the Gemini Sag axis, is to go show other people why it's fun to have you in the room, why it's fun for you to show up. With Leo, let them be the entertainer this month, because they will help so many people by letting them just forget what's stressing them out. So, and for Leo, you might have that light-hearted romance, and you might find that there's a new friend that anchors into your life with this Gemini Sagittarius energy before June 21st. If you're Virgo, yay, Mercury's going direct, yay. So June 3rd, 4th started to lighten the load for Virgos anyway. It's a 10th house Gemini new moon cycle. So Virgos are thinking about, where will you engage or where will you choose to walk away? I'm going to say that again. If you've got strong Virgo in your chart, the new moon in Gemini is saying, where will you choose? Choice equals consequences. That's your affirmation. Choices I make equal consequences. Choice equals consequences. So where will you engage or where will you walk away? And the full moon is lighting up your 4th house. So that's got to do with saying no when you need to say no, instead of other people pressuring you or talking you into things. So Mercury's gone direct. And so Virgo needs to not always be trying to be the people pleaser or getting just caught up in their head analyzing the bejesus out of things. So, if you're a Virgo, just say, that's just like on Shark Tank, that's a no for me. And for that reason, I'm out. Yeah. I always see Shark Tank as Virgo. The investors are sitting there listening and the person's all gregarious, pitching their idea like little Gemini flowers. Me, you should invest in me because we. They're like little hopping cheerleaders. And then the investors are listening to everything and they're analyzing, they're calculating. They'll go, and for that reason, I'm out. It's a no for me. It's just boom. That's it. It's a yes or an. I love that. I just love that. So if you're a Libra, the full moon is lighting up your third house, which is interesting because Gemini lights up your ninth house. Ninth house is what Nicole and I have been talking about with higher frequencies, higher love, spiritual assistance. Ask. There's the verb. Aries, ask for what you want. You may get it. Be certain of what you want. You may get it. And it also has to do biblically with ask, believing that it is so, and it shall be given unto you. So people think, well, I asked for it and God didn't deliver. My angels didn't give me anything. Did you believe it? Did you just ask? Or did you believe that it could manifest? Did you believe that the magic or the alchemy could happen? Well, no, I decided I just tell God that's what I want, so I should get it. No, that's immature. You have to do your work too. So for Libra, there might be some legal sales contracts, real estate contracts, contractual things or legalities that have been stagnant for a while that are coming up, new choices and changes. You're reviewing matters. Matters that were reviewed come up now for resolution. Libras are going to be in the mood to travel or have someone travel with them or invite someone to be with them because it's a dynamic journey, sojourn, adventure kind of a thing. Libra's the opposite balance sign to Aries. That's why Libra always likes to do things with someone. Their struggle is if they have to be alone a lot. Libras like to be engaged in a teamwork or in the company of another. If you're a Scorpio, this full moon favors your career outreach, your financial and skill abilities coming into a nice mystical marriage. The new moon hit the 8th house, so you're helping other people ferret out the secrets, how secrets or silent stuff or secret stuff or keeping your cards close to your chest can be very beneficial, keeping your ideas that you want to manifest grounded so other people aren't diluting them. So there's like some sparkling ideas. I feel like all the way into July, there's a nice manifest cycle for Scorpio to entertain and enter into a win-win scenario. So I see both the new moon and the full moon very favorable for Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, what I would suggest to you, since it is a supermoon, is you don't get yourself so high or drunk that you get talked into spending too much money. You know, people are at different energetic levels. So I would say to Scorpio, are you potentially in the firing line of over shopping or overspending or overindulging? Yeah, that would be a yes. That would be a yes. If you're a Sagittarius, this is a full-on illumination bath for you. This is the supermoon in Sagittarius. It's the festival of goodwill. It is your ability to get that spiritual guidance and answer from the rabbi or the priest or the therapist or the card reader or the astrologer. This is like the vision quest that you've been on for the last 2 years. There's some tangible results that are manifesting right now, like really material world tangible changes are coming forth. And the full moon is lighting up the first house, so therefore the Gemini cycle is lighting up, like I talked about earlier, Nicole, the big partnership status shifts. So there's something, some are coming to a breaking point, and it's a simultaneous, one door closes, another one immediately opens, and I'm feeling, as a psychic, it's a better door. It's a better door. It doesn't mean you failed if a door of a job or a door of a marriage or a door of a relationship slams shut now. You did what you did. You gave it what you could. And, you know, breakups aren't always, as society would suggest, a bad thing. Sometimes breakups, if you can do that self-inventory and say, you know, I could have done that better, but I really did do that with sincerity, and I really did care. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a perfect human being, but if you really did feel that you finally communicated as best as you could, and, you know, it's either it's a no for them or you're going to agree to disagree, then maybe the definition of a breakup is that you took it as far as you could, and therefore it's a success. You each get to grow from it. So with Capricorn, the new moon in Gemini is hitting your 6th house. So this has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with you know, like for Capricorn, Sagittarius is their 12th house. So this full moon is saying to Capricorn, don't crowd up your social calendar. This is about, if you keep pushing yourself and you keep being that workaholic or that, you know, control freak director, you're gonna tap your energy out, and that's when we get the colds. That's when we get the headaches. That's when we get the sinus thing. That's when we get the food poisoning or the 24-hour, however you need to define it or name it. But it knocks our whatever in the dirt, and we have to take some time and sleep, or we just run ourselves to exhaustion, and we just have to say bye-bye to the world. And, you know, a lot of people, when they're people pleasers, They literally have to get sick before they can cancel the wedding or cancel the trip or cancel going to the party, because people, oh, I'm so sorry you got a migraine, or I'm so sorry you got sick, or oh, did you sprain your ankle? Well, of course you can't come. So people pleasers, they don't have to debate it anymore because something happened and that's why they can't go. Where people like me with a loaded up Scorpio chart, just I'm not going, I don't want to do that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your party. It's Shark Tank. I'm out. I don't want to, for this reason, I'm out. I need to take care of me tonight. Well, come on, you'll like it better if you go to the party. Okay, here's my affirmation. Just KNOW that it's an NO for me. Boom, that's it. There's your receipt. Okay, so for Capricorn, Capricorn and Cancer, out of all 12 signs, need to be doing self-nurturing. They need to be taking care of themselves. So let's say you're a Cancer rising with a Capricorn moon, or a Capricorn sun with a Cancer moon, or you got the Aries Libra thing and a Cancer moon. You need to settle it down. You need to not be the little kid that plays all day in the sun to where they're like so sunburned they can't even go to sleep when they want to. It's time to take a chillax pill. Not literally, but calm yourself down. If you're an Aquarian, Gemini is very favorable. It's your 5th house, so you may be wanting to hang out with kids, grandkids, get inspiration from younger people, like to go to some type of theater event or art event or gymnastics event or like lecture or seminar or whatever, to where it's like, damn, that is really cool. I really got inspired by them. And it might be some people younger than you, and all of a sudden, there's your spiritual omen, or there's your mystical answer, out of the mouth of babes type of the thing. You turn around and go, wow, that child just said something that let me remember a really incredible part of my childhood that I loved. And so you can hear a key unlocking a door, click, 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 click. That child entered your life in this cycle to help you remember a jewel inside yourself that was just lying dormant. Yeah, that's real powerful for Aquarians. And it might be, that it happens through, you're a dog groomer, and the person that comes in and brings the dog has a child with them or their grandchild, and the effervescence or the enthusiasm of the child reminds you what you loved about that part of your life when you were a child, and therefore the medicine becomes viable in 2022. The full moon hits the 11th house for Aquarians. You might be put on call to encourage a friend, Aquarius. It might be that you need to go hang out with that friend or have a night out with just the friends. There might be a friend that is a friend indeed needing you to be by their side or to help support them through something. If you're a Pisces, so now all this stuff in Aries, Pisces, is telling you to really stop moving forward. It's really easy for Pisces people just to stay in the bed, watch a movie, order food in, play video games, and just avoid the world. Pisces does not have a problem locking out the outside world. But this is a 3rd, 9th house type of idea. So if you've been thinking about wanting to do something productive with your home, your sanctuary, your home, it's a spotlight on home base, yeah, but it's also a time with that 10th house with the full moon. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to write a movie script? Do you want to finally communicate with somebody that it's been a challenge for you over the last 11 years to really do that? And do you want to get like that life teacher or experience a Reiki session? Or maybe you're going to buy yourself an Oracle deck and start having communication with you and the divine start that way. So that can happen as well. If you're an Aries, oh God, can you imagine Aries have like this alignment of Aries going on right now? So for Aries, all these Aries, this Aries stellium is you're going to have to calm that impatience and that aggression. Assertion is good, aggression is not. If you're an Aries or you have strong Aries placements, the new moon is lighting up your 3rd house, podcast, community efforts, doing something more in your community, like one of the little thrift stores or flea markets or art shows or whatever in your own town, in your own community. That's a really good place for Aries to get to know the neighborhood bar, or the best place to get your hamburger or your grouper sandwich or something. So get involved with your neighborhood, and because that's the 3rd house, your community. And it's also that Aries may be talking to cousins or siblings about reconciling something or getting the air cleared with something. The full moon lights up the 9th house. Aries would love, love, love to have some kind of, like, maybe it's just a day cruise, or maybe they just want to do a spa day, or maybe they just want to, the full moon's kind of urging them to go a little bit further than just their neighborhood. So like when I lived in Florida, if you live on the west coast of Florida, it only takes you 2.5 hours. I could get to Daytona in 2.5 hours, even though I lived, on the Tampa Bay side. So I could just go, I would just go to Lakeland or Orlando and have lunch and come back. You can do that in a day because you can go across the state when you live in Florida. But all of you, no matter where you live, you can travel an hour away and go have lunch and come back. Those are like third house type of things, but you might meet really interesting out of the box foreign interest when you go to that town that's an hour or two away, or that antique shop and have lunch, or the farmer's market and have lunch in a different area, kind of close to home, but you meet some really intriguing foreign interest strangers. And the final sign, last but certainly not least, Taurus right now Taurus has some interesting, intriguing romance going on. Venus has gone into Taurus. The next place that Mars will go to is Taurus. So Taurus people are about to get their candles lit up again real soon, just so I can tell Taurus, Mars will go in to the sign of Taurus. They need to mark this on their calendars. Right around July 4th, 5th, 6th, Mars is going to slip into Taurus. And so what happens with that, Mars is weak in the sign of Taurus. It's not real powerful in Taurus. It's powerful in Aries, Scorpio, but it's sensual in Taurus. And Venus is in Taurus right now. So the more that you, Taurus, connect with your element, get out in nature, do things out in nature, meet more indigenous, different cultures than yourself. Like if you hook up with an Aborigine, or you can do a Native American fire ceremony, or you can do something that's involving herbs or studying herbs or essential oils or the effects of herbs, and really understand how your body is wanting to talk to you. Like when I've been off B12 for a while and I go back on B12, it's like I say to myself, why do you ever go off the sublingual B12? It's so calming. It's so wonderful. B6 and B12 for the nervous system. It just backs off stress. That's what B does. It backs off that monkey mind in your head stress. And so the full moon for Taurus, it's hitting a sensual place. It's hitting the 8th house. So that's the 8th house. It's the natural sign of Scorpio, which is the balance to Taurus. So the 8th house is the realm of death, the realm of afterlife, the realm of connecting with the supernatural, be it angels or be it people that have passed on, and you have visions or meditations or spirit communication, things coming to you by your own guides that are just absolutely phenomenally fantastic. It's where you go, oh my God, thank you for that. I never looked at it that way. I never got the concept that way. I am so blessed that you came as a guide and you unlocked me. It's very rich for Taurus dominant people to, in the material world, get good deals, get some good projects going, and get caught up in a lot of things. But in the mystical realm, it's a candle that's not blowing out in the wind. I mean, it's dancing with chance, and Gemini being the winds of change, and Sagittarius saying, looking for some visionary inspiration? I got you. And that's this month. That's this month. And it's just,
oh my gosh, that's like it's just me to a T, because, first talk about me. This is why it's so important, everyone, to really understand your chart. Like, so your rising is always going to kind of be really accurate with your charts, but your sun also gives you a lot of details. And with, me going on vacation, because I know, and I felt it, ever since the sun moved into Gemini, I've just been lights out. All I want to do is sleep. I got a little bit under the weather, so I was forced to be in bed for an entire weekend. And now going on vacation for 10 days just to unwind and relax from all of the heavy work, but also do my ayahuasca journey if all works out well. So connecting with that vision quest is definitely coming in and being shown things right around. It'll just be before the full moon that I'll likely do my journey. So it's everything that you just said is so accurate, like for me.
Thank you, Nicole. Can I ask you this? What was it that mystically, because it's intriguing, I've had a lot of people wanting to do either DMT or ayahuasca, or mushrooms. What was it that mystically arrived to you to say, I'm in for the ceremony?
I've been wanting to do this journey since 2008. When two separate people crossed my path and told me about their experience. And, but I knew that I was like, I'll do it when I know it's the right time and it's the right place. And for the last 6 months, I've literally been feeling Mother Ayahuasca connecting with me. And I've just, I know it's time now. And this is really like, when you're talking about how like Venus and Mars moving into Taurus and
Yep.
all that, from what I understand, what I've gathered is there's going to be a major heart opening through this ayahuasca trip or journey that I go on. And so,
I'm pretty sure, Nicole, that, and we'll research this after the call, both of us will, because we know astrology. I'm pretty sure 2008 was the year when Pluto first shifted into Capricorn. Now, I'm doing that on memory.
No,
so
you're right.
Don't hold me to. Okay.
Correct.
And then the other thing is, what Spirit just said to me psychically for you is that you're going to become a tuning fork. And so Mother Ayahuasca is going to play you like a musical instrument, and it's going to quickly release any of the impediments and any of the detriments that have, for it doesn't even matter the reasons why, that have been some type of impediment or lethargic things hanging on from other lifetimes into this one, and that you're actually going to have a clean slate and be empowered with a new life of romance and partnership. Like, people often say that ayahuasca is you meet your own death. It's the vine that shows you what needs to die and what needs to live. So that's why some people purge and both ends and all that kind of stuff. And then like ayahuasca purges you and then makes you communicate with that which has been dying in your life and that which seeks to have birth. In your case, because you are an earth element, you are Taurus, so you all automatically have an in with Mother Earth's plants and her healers and her herbs and her flowers. So I feel like with you, it's going to go in and say, this is your time and it's okay, and you can accept it, that you can not only love the lover that you are and love how you love and commitment and loyalty and romance, and how you already know that as a team with an aligning vibration, that there's so much more that you can do in this walkabout, in this earth life. And I think what's going to happen is going to be, the skins are going to be shed that are purged, that need to come off of you, that was anything other than or less than.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. That's exactly what came through in an Akashic reading for me, regarding the ayahuasca and what it's going to do for me, in that.
There's your confirmation.
Well, yeah.
There's your confirmation. It wasn't just a
reading. I already
Yeah.
feel it. So I'm going to let her do her thing and we'll see what happens. But it will be, interestingly, it'll be close to the full moon, but it'll be even closer to Venus conjuncting Uranus. So
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Because I think that's like the 16th and 17th that
it's the 11th. It's the 11th.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, well, it's going to bloom out. When you have a conjunction between a planet that takes 7 years to do its thing, like Uranus stays in a sign, it does like a basically overarching 7-year cycle. So you're right. So when it connects up on Saturday the 11th, in astrology, you don't just look at the exact day that these big aspects happen. So Venus, she flips in and out of signs sometimes every month or two, but Venus is going to actually align in Taurus with Uranus, which takes 7 years in Taurus, and it's going to do that on that day while the moon is in Scorpio.
Okay.
So there's your there's your same eclipse axis that was going on in April, May. The moon will be transiting in Scorpio over the 11th and 12th. Actually, it goes into Scorpio. Now, this is on Eastern time. It goes in on June 10th into Scorpio at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, earlier on Pacific time. So what happens is all day Saturday, the moon is rich in the sign of Scorpio, and she's connecting with Pluto and Capricorn. She's sextiling that Pluto and Capricorn. And then at 9 o'clock at night on Eastern time, you can convert it later, the moon in Scorpio will actually go into polarity and opposition not being a bad thing, but the polarity of you seeing what you need to see, because there's the I am and there's the we are. There's the I will and there's the we can. And that's what that moon in Scorpio is going to be giving you with all that Taurus. It actually is accelerating and emphasizing all that Taurus. And then as and don't forget that on that Friday, June 10th, as you go into late afternoon, Mercury in Taurus, Earth is going to trine that 180-degree pyramidal, the top of the Merkaba, the capstone of the pyramid. It's going to launch. It's like a spaceship or stellar frequencies. It's going to play you like a fine fiddle type of a thing on June 10th, the night before. So who you're meeting and who you're around and how you're actually beginning to visualize your surroundings and your circumstances. I would suggest this. today, as we're, getting this all ready for the supermoon in Sagittarius, ahead of your journey, I always bless my flights. I bless who I'm supposed to connect with on the plane, on the ground, in the airport. I bless the whole, like if you're going specifically for a ceremony or an experience, I send angelic blessings ahead of me. I bless the room that I'll be staying, whatever it is. I mean, I send the angels ahead of me because they don't have to get on a jet to fly. They can just transport there. Yeah. So send the energy ahead of yourself, because Gemini, Peter Pan, butterflies, hummingbirds, dragonflies, the Gemini, songbirds, every songbird is a Gemini. Every butterfly is a Gemini. So send the butterflies and the songbirds. Look at those as your sky totems. Gemini right now, we're all supposed to be keeping our eyes to the skies. So the star beings, the dragonflies, the songbirds, the lightning bugs, the fireflies, the moths, everything that has to do with the flying creatures around us right now. So look at what bird is getting your attention. I mean, there's nowhere I don't stop and park my car that a crow doesn't fly up overhead going, and I'm like, yeah, I know you're my main totem. I know. Out west, it's raven. Right here, it's the crow. I mean, they're everywhere. And to where my friends say, do you know that crows follow you everywhere? Yeah, I know. I had one that landed on my balcony, my Key West balcony, when I lived in Florida. People think seagulls in Florida. Yeah, I had a pet crow I could pet. Came from the wild. Yeah. So this Halloween mystic rolls with the crows real well.
I don't doubt it.
So look at when you go to that vortex, even though they have a lot of tropical types of creatures, look at what appears to you. Look at what appears to you there that wants to get your attention. It might be that the hummingbirds are swirling all around, or a butterfly lands on your shoulder, or the dragonfly comes to you and says, yep, that's the frequency that I trust right there. So dragonfly is illumination, and hummingbird is joy, and butterfly is transformation. You're going from the earth as a caterpillar, Taurus, into the butterfly that's able to take to the skies very lightly. And who doesn't love butterflies? I mean, come on, you've never met anybody say, I hate butterflies. I never have. So it's like the Gemini aspect is that I went through a metamorphic alchemical meltdown from a caterpillar going into the cocoon, the womb, the cocoon, to get here. And now I am liberated, which is in tune with Gemini Sagittarius. Exactly what you're doing is the Gemini Sagittarius experience.
Yeah, I feel like this is even astrologically pushing me to do this, because the Venus-Uranus conjunction happening on the 11th, that is happening around 16 degrees, and my natal sun is around 16 degrees.
There you go.
So,
there you go. And the moon will be in your balance sign anyway in Scorpio.
Yeah.
So, and it's all yin. It's all feminine. You're calling it Mother Ayahuasca. So it's all the earth and the water signs. When we began this podcast, the earth and the water signs are the earth mother saying, I'll hold you, I'll cuddle you, I'll feed you, and I'll birth you anew. Mm-hmm. That's the Taurus Scorpio. Scorpio rules the reproductive organs, and Taurus rules the whole throat, finding your voice, speaking your mind. It's the thyroid, it's the throat. People think that the sound of their voice comes out of their mouth. It does not. It does not. The larynx and the throat, that's the area, the Taurus area, which is why so many Taurus have beautiful singing voices and podcast voices, and their actual earth body noises are very attractive. Their tone and their pitch is very attractive. So you'll find that more with Scorpio and Taurus, that they have very unusual sound and pitch and tone to their singing or their speaking voices. Like they draw people in. It's one of their allures. It's melodic.
Mary, it's such a pleasure reconnecting with you, having you back on the show. Let my audience know where they can book a reading with you if they wish to get more depth into their astrological chart.
And first, I humbly bow in gratitude and thanks for everyone and anyone that gets to hear this and to come into that energetic frequency of the joined forces of Nicole and I. Bless you, and love is sent to you. Ask, believing that it's so, and it will be granted unto you. So my little website is just my name, Mary, M-A-R-Y, Dusina, D as in divine, U, S as in spirit, I, N as in now, A, always, marydusina.com. On Facebook, it's Cosmic Conditions, and Instagram is probably just find me under Mary Dusina. But I do a real multi-level metaphysical type of astrological reading, and certainly with the tarot and the oracle. I mean, it's 35 years of all kinds of things that have come together when we do that. But I absolutely acquiesce to the divine guides, whether I'm doing a chart or I'm doing someone's psychic reading. It's all about what's the highest good and the highest love and the highest light to serve that person at this time.
Beautiful. Well, I'll leave all your links in the show notes for everyone.
Thank you.
It's easy for you guys to head on over there if you wish to. And of course, I love you guys so much. Enjoy this full moon that is happening today. So tonight, do your meditation, go outside,
Absolutely.
take time for yourself. And if you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, take care of yourself right now. I know I'm going to be doing that. Mary, good. I love having you on the show. It's always a pleasure and always a good laugh as well. Guys, have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back with you next week. Thanks again for joining me for another show on the Enlighten Up podcast. I love you guys so much for all of your continued support. So remember to raise your vibe, find your tribe, and be open to the infinite possibilities held in the mysteries that surround us all. Thanks again for sharing the show with your family and friends. And if you're new to the show and you need to find out more information about me, please head on over to my website, NicoleFrolick.com, where you can join my newsletter. And please follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and YouTube. Keep your light bright, and I'll see you next week.